Yo guys, how's it going? And welcome back to my next episode of my NQT Diary show. It's been a good week. In fact, it's been a good 2 weeks because I have had, since the last NQT Diary show video episode I put out, I've had half term and I have just finished my first week back into term 2. I've got lots to talk about because I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what I have experienced and what I have done over my half term and how I've used my time and how the experiences I've had coming back into term 2 after the children have had that week break to relax and to recuperate. And obviously I have had that time to recuperate too. So without further ado guys, let's get into the video. So, first and foremost, my half term was really chilled. I initially wanted to go away. I was thinking about Amsterdam or going away somewhere in Europe for a few days. But unfortunately, the way that my pay worked, I didn't get paid until the end of half term. So, unfortunately, I didn't have the money to be able to do that. But my intention, first and foremost, was to relax. The first term is a long term, it's 8 weeks long, so it's essentially 2 months, the whole of September and the whole of October, and I was just really drained, so I needed that time off. I needed to relax, to chill out, and to just fully recuperate from what was a very long term. And I did that. I chilled, I did some jitsu, I went out and about, I met up with friends and we did that social, the last video, the Halloween social, you would have seen that. So it was just nice to not have to get up at 6 AM every day and to just recuperate, have a bit of time to myself, and yeah, just have some downtime. Now, I did do a little bit of work. Obviously, I needed to make sure that I was well planned for this second term, but I left it until the end of the week, so I started doing my planning around Thursday, Friday, and then I did a little bit over the weekend as well, and to be honest, that's all I really needed to do. Before I left for half term, I made sure that my classroom was in a good state. I took all of the displays down and made sure that everything was ready for the beginning of the new term. And so all that was left to be done while I was enjoying my half term was to make sure I was fully planned and I knew exactly what I was going to be teaching the children in this term. And so I was able to do that in a couple of days at the end of the half term, which was nice. If you are an NQT, well, I suppose if you're an experienced teacher, you'll make the most of your days off anyway. You'll be well experienced with that. But I do suggest, you do need time for yourself. Otherwise, ultimately, you will burn yourself out. So for me, like I say, I took the entire first weekend off and the first 4 days, and then those the end of half term was when I got on my laptop, started looking at emails, and started doing bits and bobs ready for the first term. Ready for the term back. So yeah, have the time to yourself, make sure you get that recovery time, it's important. So that's half term done. Now what have I experienced this week? The first thing was that yes, all the children were slightly more distracted because they just had an entire week off. They were out of the routine of coming in and doing schoolwork, right? But they were revitalized, so tensions were low, whereas in comparison to the last week of term, everyone was really emotional, people were snapping at each other, children were not getting on, friendships were breaking down, because they'd just been at school for too long, they needed that time off. So now it's come back and we are in the first week, they've had that time off. They are so much nicer, they're so much better, other teaching staff are more relaxed, and so we've had a really good productive week of really good work. One thing I have noticed, which is, I suppose, something that every teacher goes through, and if you're an NQT watching this, or you are a student teacher, once that first term is out of the way, you go into the second term with a lot more confidence because you know the routines of the school, you know what you're doing, you know how every day to day is laid out. And so this week has been really nice for me because I felt so much more confident, so much more relaxed. And yeah, everything has panned out the way I intended it to. Not saying that the first term didn't, because it did, But as you can imagine, a lot of what I was doing, I was learning on the job, I was learning as I was going, because you can't really know and you don't really know how the school and how the children work until you start in that role, until you start working in the role, until you start doing things. And so yeah, this term I know all the children, I know who's friendly with who, I know like the quirks of the different members of staff and the children, I know how everything runs, and I know everyone's expectations. So this first week of this first term, this first week of this second term has run really smoothly. Now, one thing that I have done, so on Wednesday, as I've mentioned before, I have PPA and my NQT release time, so I have the whole day to plan and to make sure that I can prep my classroom and things ready for the following week, and just make sure I am in a good position and that I'm doing what I need to be doing. I took a big chunk of the morning out to go and observe the Year 5-6 teacher, so go into a different classroom, see how she manages her class. It's important for a couple of reasons. Firstly, I am therefore watching good practice. She is a very experienced teacher, and she manages her classroom really well. So I saw how she managed her classroom, I saw her books, got to speak to her a little bit about why she does certain things, and that was really useful for me. The second thing is because I'm teaching the children that are under, in terms of year group, that are under her class, come next year, my Year 4s will go up to her Year 5s. So I need to make sure that the children that are going up into Year 5 have a smooth transition, and that it means making sure that they are confident and comfortable with the levels that she will then expect. So observing and watching how she treats her class, and how her class acts, is something that I need to start promoting for my class as well, so that they have that experience. What I will do is, it won't be next week but the week after, I'll try and go into the Year 1-2 class to see how the children are in there, so that I have an idea of what they're going to then be like when they become my new Year 3s next year. So getting out there, observing, writing notes down, and seeing how you can change your practice or improve it based on other people. It might be a case that you go into a different teacher's classroom and go, yeah, I definitely don't want to do that. That is not working very well. I'm glad that I'm not doing that. But I do really like that, so I'm going to try and tear that on and see if that works. So it's a really good piece of advice that I've been given. It might help you too. Okay guys, so next week is going to be a really long week. It's going to be a good week, but it's going to be long. I have a NQT course on the Thursday, so my PPA and NQT time is being changed around. So I have my NQT course on the Thursday. It's based on science, I believe, so that should be quite cool. Plus I have 2 parents' evenings. I have one on the Tuesday, which runs up until like 7, and then on the Thursday after my NQT course I've got to go back to school, because I've got another one in the evening on Thursday. So the next video, the next NQT video show that I put out next week, I'll obviously be talking all about parents' evening and my experience from that, so that is to come. The other thing that I found out, and technically because I'm an NQT I can't take on a subject as a subject lead, is that this year at least, or the rest of this year, myself and my head teacher are going to be basically like sharing the workload for the science and geography. So I will sort of try my best to step up to the plate as much as I can, and to sort of help work with him and lead the science and the geography, which is perfect for me because I have a science background already, so I'm confident in how to teach science and how to work with science. So I have very clear goals for that, but that's another exciting development so far this year, and I will obviously keep you up to date with how that pans out and what my role is in terms of that subject lead. So yeah guys, that is pretty much it. There's not really anything else I need to update you on. It's generally just been a good couple of weeks. I had a relaxing half term, and it has been a really good start to term 2. I'm actually really looking forward to this term. 1, it's a week shorter, so it's a 7-week term, and 2, it's going to be Christmas in a month, right? So we're going to be doing lots of Christmas orientated stuff with the children, decorating the classroom. We've got lots of different things in the church. Monday we have Remembrance Day service, so we've got some bits going on for that. And then obviously we've got coming into the lead up to Christmas, and we've got lots of things around there. So it's going to be a fun term. I can feel it already. So yeah. Right guys, I'm going to finish the video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you want to know anything about what I've just spoken about, or if you want to know, my advice for half term or any of that kind of stuff, comment down below. As you know, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you want to keep in the loop with everything I post, please consider subscribing, guys. I do lots of this kind of videos, and as you would have seen from the last one, I also try daily vlogs and various other bits and bobs. Alright guys, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for tuning back in, and I will see you next time. Peace.